Well, moving into our next story of the day, we do have yesterday's White House press briefing where I got to give kudos to Jacqui Heinrich here. We give her kudos all the time, but she does a phenomenal job of pushing back on Karine Jean-Pierre here because Karine Jean-Pierre has been calling Republicans in the House MAGA extremists for what's going on with raising the debt ceiling and saying, hey, look, we need a better budget here because our spending is out of control. And so according to Karine Jean-Pierre, the Republicans are holding the country hostage. You know, they're going after the VA and all these knucklehead things, which aren't true, by the way. And Jacqui Heinrich calls her out on this. She does a fabulous job here. Hit that like and subscribe button, folks, if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and roll it.
43 Republican senators signed onto a letter opposing raising the debt ceiling without budget reforms, and 217 members in the House voted for that bill to raise the debt limit with cuts to spending. Does the White House consider all of those members to be dangerous MAGA Republican extremists?
Do they understand what the cuts that they're voting for is going to do? That's the question. I mean, Republicans...
That wasn't the question. And how many times have we seen this where literally she'll hear a question, but then she'll make up her own question in her mind and then answer the question that she made up in her own mind that was never asked, but she'll answer that one. It's insane. It's insane. But Jacqui Heinrich doesn't let up here.
In Congress, in the House specifically, voted for cuts that's going to hurt American families. I mean, we can't say this enough. 22%. Cuts to veterans, healthcare, schools. That's what they voted for.
False.
That's what, and this is not, okay, but this is not just, this is their constituents. This is what they voted for.
And those constituents that they're voting on behalf of have said that they're concerned about their retirements, about the effects of inflation, and those members represent more than half of the country in the House. I mean, that's the majority of districts in the country, that they're voting on behalf of those constituents who are expressing concern about where the economy is. So I guess, how can the White House continue to use messaging calling this the Default on America Act and paint this legislation in such a way without having a conversation about the budget when you've got half the country saying that they want that conversation?
So House Republicans are threatening a first ever default. They want the president to agree on a plan in its entirety that includes cuts to programs that are incredibly important for the American family, because they want to hold the American economy hostage, because that's what they're saying that they want to do by threatening a default.
I just want to pause it because some of you have asked in the comment section, and I highly recommend you check out the comment section because some of the comments we get from the Democrats and the left that will throw maybe one or two in there are insane. So some of you asked, do people actually really believe this? Yes, they do. And you heard me talk about it. Look at the comment section from yesterday's podcast. You literally have people that actually believe that Republicans are holding the country hostage. Just read the comment section of main podcast videos, folks, if you want to be entertained. Just go ahead and read it. It's too great. It's too great. But we'll let her continue here. And like I said, Jacqui will push back on what she's saying.
The bill would raise the debt limit. They passed a bill to raise the debt limit. So the conversation...
and I hear you, but they are connecting passing whatever, this debt limit, to cuts, 22% cuts to veterans, to seniors. That's what they are threatening. Cuts to our schools. That's what that's what is connecting. That's what their budget plan is.
The bill doesn't have any appropriations in it, actually, and the speaker has, ruled out a number of those things, including defense, veterans benefits, senior entitlement programs. When you have Mitt Romney saying that there has to be a conversation here, is he a MAGA Republican extremist?
Damn, Jacqui again! This girl is amazing. I mean, what do you say to that? She literally just destroyed her. Literally destroyed Karine Jean-Pierre, going, basically, nope, that's not going to fly. We're not going to let that one slide. All right? You sat there and spewed a bunch of nonsense, and now I'm going to call you out for it. Yeah!
What I'm saying is House Republicans have been very clear. They voted on a bill that's going to cut programs that are very important to American families. Law enforcement, cutting programs to law enforcement, cutting program to veteran care, cutting program to our school system.
Since when do Democrats care about law enforcement? since when do they care about cutting law enforcement? I'm not saying I'm for it. I'm just asking because we just spent 4 years of defund the police, right? Trump's a racist, right? The police are hunting black men in the street, which is literally not true. And by the way, if you did read our book, there's an entire chapter called Defunding the Police and how we debunk that whole thing because Democrats are trying to destroy this country from the inside out in conjunction with the progressive left. Grab yourself a copy. Link is in the description below. We go over all the statistics. You got a statistic teacher here with you going over the stats and basically calling them out for their bogus lies. Let the knucklehead continue, though.
That's what Republicans have voted on. So those are extreme. Those are very extreme. These are things that the American people don't want. Just look at 2022.
Spit out my coffee
what
for
they
that insane
voted
comment
for.
she just
They
made.
voted for to protect their retirement accounts. That's what the American people want to see. And so they're connecting those two. They want the president to agree on its entire agenda of an extreme budget. It is an extreme budget, something that Americans do not want. And
You want to know what's extreme? Can we just talk about this for a moment and call out the elephant in the room? How about our politicians spending more than we have? We are almost $32 trillion in debt. I would like to point out under the Clinton administration, I'm not saying for the Clintons whatsoever, but we were at a surplus at one point. That was in the 90s. 32 trillion is coming up. Can you all it's not like that's going to disappear. We have to pay that back. And how do you think the government's going to pay it back? They're not going to print more money. I mean, I'm sure that'll have a little bit to do with it. Taxes. You think taxes are rough now? Wait till they start instituting and actually paying this stuff back. It's going to get to the point where literally we're just paying back the interest. We're not actually paying back the principal of this whole thing. So that's extreme. Us sitting there trying to figure this out is not extreme. That's called being adult. That's called having a little bit of a clue of where we're heading, and maybe we should sit here and say enough's enough. Let's figure this out. So Republicans are the ones being the adults in the room. The Democrats just going, well, hey, let's be idiots still. Let's raise the debt ceiling without talking about a budget. Typical.
That's something for them to answer to. This is also speaking to their constituents when they're voting for something like that.
Exactly.
And so look, the president put forth a budget where it also cuts spending, but not hurting American families. We're trying to make sure that we lower the deficit by saying that we're going to cut the deficit by $3 trillion over 10 years.
Oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't drink my coffee right there. Oh my God, just over the deficit. With a straight face. Look at her face. She actually believes this.
But he put forth something that is actually responsible. Remember, show me your value. Show me your budget, and I'll tell you what you value. That's what the president said. They showed their value by showing cutting veterans program, cutting school programs, cutting healthcare, 22%. That's what they value. That's something that they have to answer to the American people about. Go ahead, Ed.
You literally have Jacqui Heinrich just totally destroying her. And so she just waits till she talks and rambles for quite a while, and then she'll just regurgitate the same talking points and the same nonsense that she continues to spew, even though, again, Jacqui Heinrich completely obliterated exactly what she just spewed once again. So it's insane. It's insane. Well, they're MAGA extremists. Yeah, but it's like the entire Republican Party. Mitt Romney's a MAGA extremist that isn't a fan of Donald Trump. And she kind of like stepped aside from that. Now she's not, later on, she wasn't calling them extremists anymore. It's so unbelievable that she gets away with it. And like I said, Democrats are really for this. They listen to this and like, yeah, oh yeah, oh, the Republicans are holding them hostage. Yeah, no, Republicans are sitting there stopping this crap from happening. It's already been passed. So it's not like there's anything being held hostage. Joe Biden could step up at any moment and say, hey, let's actually have a conversation about the budget and figure this ish out. And he don't want to do it. That's why everybody in this room, that was the main question. It has been the main question going on. Why is Joe Biden not willing to have a conversation about this budget and figure it out? And she keeps pushing this nonsense, spinning it, manipulating it in the same way these knucklehead Democrats in the comment section keep doing the same thing. Because this doesn't work. This isn't working. There's Democrats out there, folks, I like to point out, to bridge the gap, there are Democrats out there that understand this. They'll still vote Democrat. We're not going to understand why, but they're good people. They're people of faith out there on the Democrat side of the aisle. But the progressive left, in a nutshell, is really what we're talking about here. They're progressive left. They'll call themselves Democrats, but they're actually some centrist Democrats like Tim Pool out there, which is probably an old school type of Democrat. I don't know if he would agree with that, but he's definitely centrist, which is why I watched the Tim Pool podcast.
I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.